Well, I think everybody and myself, we all kind of knew that I was getting a little bit, I guess, over the scene in America, and I've accomplished all that I set out to do, goals-wise, and figured we'd give it a go, try something new, see if it was something that, I guess, re-sparked a racing interest inside of me. Coming this side was an opportunity that we had to do something different and give something else a go, something that I guess I never really thought about doing, say 3-4 years ago. Once it came about from Monster and Kawasaki, it happened really slow in the beginning, but then after that it gained a lot of speed very quickly. Going to Barcelona, I thought it was pretty cool actually going to see a few doctors down there. The regulations are different for doctors and surgeries and things like that in America, so the things that they were able to do, and I'd never done like a 3D whole body scan, so it was really cool to see that, and it's always good to have that in your back pocket if need be. It felt good, that was the first day back riding, and it was on a sand track, and to me the only way you can ride sand is if you ride it somewhat fast. The slower you go, the harder it is. So yeah, I think everybody was surprised with the amount of time off and then the speed I had right away, and that's kind of what kicked it off. That's what started the training and started the look forward to the racing. One or 2 years previously, we did the same type of shootout test in America and switched to Showa. And the relationship that we built with Showa right away, or I built with my suspension guys in the States, was really well. As the company, they work really well together, and they're always pushing the limits. We tested both companies, both products, and for me, both times that we've done that, I've preferred the Showa, so I felt like it was a good move. I wanted to always try a hydraulic clutch on the Cowie, and it's a different system. Money has to be spent in developing it, and KRT has done that. It's a little too stiff, yeah. But it's hard to tell, it definitely has more bite or more go out of the turn. After riding with it for over a month, I still just wasn't used to it. We put the cable clutch back on, and it felt like that was home right away, as soon as we put it on. So to switch for just this one last season definitely was challenging on my part. We opted just to go to Qatar, so that's probably something that I would change, was maybe do one or two warm-ups, but it is what it is. A night race is always tough for an outdoor track, and especially a big one, so lighting could always be better on the track. We all have to deal with the same situation, but I thought it was cool. It was something completely different. I think the biggest thing that I found that was different was how small most of the GP tracks were, and the speeds were slow. So I showed up there with my current setup that I felt was pretty decent, and we were very far off at that track. So we struggled all weekend. We learned a lot on that weekend, and we were able to come back with 2 days and test at Gravenbroich and make some good progress for Thailand. That was probably one of the coolest races, Thailand. Just because the culture was it was just crazy the way they live. It's just bizarre. So it's really cool to see, it was something that I'll remember for sure. I think we made, quick moves and ended up working out for the best. We made changes during the week, and we flew to Thailand just to make sure that we were not leaving anything on the table. I wanted to have 2 bikes ready for practice and see where we were at and pick the best bike for those conditions at least, and we were able to get our first win there. I guess maybe happened sooner than most people thought it was going to. We struggled in the second moto though, but nevertheless we ended up getting the overall. It was good for Kawasaki's showing and also myself. That was another place that was really cool, somewhere that I would like to go back in the future and do some fishing. It's in beautiful countryside. We stayed in a great small hotel. I think it had 12 rooms, and it's just a really unique place. Many fans showed up. The track was new. The track was a good track. I thought it was one of the bigger tracks that we had on the circuit, and that was its first year running there, so they did really good with what they had, and being that it was the first go. Our starts were off, so no flow yet. We were still struggling with the bike a bit. We still had some work to do. But it seemed like even though we were, in my mind, I guess a fair ways off, we were still inside the top 5, racing with the guys that were the top guys. I thought that was another really beautiful place, landscape with being in the valley there and up against those mountainsides and the river running through. We were back inside of Europe and using the trucks, and everything was, call it normal for everybody else except for me. That was normal for the team and everybody, and that's something that they're all used to. So, I thought the weekend started off the best so far that we had in the season. I think that weekend the big change was we were struggling with starts all the rounds prior to that, and the gate had dropped 3 times that weekend, and we were inside the top 5 all 3 times. That was really good to see. That was like, okay, now we're putting ourselves in a position to race up front instead of fighting through the first turn and fighting the first couple laps, or just being back in the back, so that made a big difference. And I jumped off the single what I thought to be exactly the same as all prior laps, and hooked up, and I wasn't ready for it, and I couldn't get to the back brake, and that's what it was. We all gave it a go. It's a bummer that we got dealt these cards. We played it the best we could, and it's this is the way it ended up. So I've accomplished everything that I set out to do in this sport. And I'd rather retire ahead than behind. It was a big undertaking for KRT and Cami to make this all happen, and just want to say thanks to all those guys, Thierry and everybody on the team. It was fun. We definitely will have a lot of memories.